Howdy ho ho, my good humans. How the hell are you doing? This is Unnecessary Rambling. I'm Brandon Sylvia. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for stopping by to talk some Gamescom opening night live. Just finished watching it, and overall decent enough show. It's one of those things where Gamescom you kind of have to have your expectations set properly going in, and then it shouldn't really disappoint whenever you know it's not going to be one of those Game Awards or even Summer Game Fest level shows or anything close to your big E3, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo conferences. It's not one of those shows, never has been. And yeah, you're not going to get one of those huge. You did get some, to be fair, there were a couple pretty big reveals that I was not expecting at all that popped up here, and we'll talk about those. So overall, I did not think it was a bad show, like a C-ish level showcase, something like that. But I want to talk about a few of the games that really stood out to me today. I'm not going to go over absolutely every single game that was shown off here. If I missed anything, any heavy hitters, hit me in the comments with those down below. I'm sure there'll be quite a few that I did not include here in this rundown. Wanted to keep it somewhat brief, but yeah, let's go over every game that caught my eye at Gamescom opening night live. And I guess we'll kick it off with one of those big brand new reveals that yeah, this was something. Dying Light the Beast. So I love Dying Light 1 and 2. You're returning back to the main character from Dying Light 1 for Dying Light the Beast, and that's gonna be really interesting to see exactly what they do with the story. For those of you who finished Dying Light 1, you'll know that he's probably going to play quite a bit different at certain times during Dying Light the Beast. But yeah, they showed some like fucking driving going on here. You're driving around in a third person perspective, which as far as I'm aware, I haven't played all the DLC and shit, but as far as I'm aware, I think that's the first time anything like that has been available in Dying Light. So yeah, man, I'm a big fan of the franchise. I'll happily jump into Dying Light the Beast. They really wanted to highlight that it's only 20 hours, which I thought was funny, given that during Dying Light 2's marketing, they were trying to highlight that, oh, it's, 100 plus hours, all these different side quests. And they were trying to really get a point across of how dense it was and how much there was to do. And then Dying Light the Beast, they're like, you can finish it in 20 hours. Don't worry. So I wonder if marketing is kind of going in reverse now, where it's like a positive to market your game as something that's finishable and digestible in a somewhat reasonable amount of time. So, Dying Like the Beast, happy to see this kind of kick off the show. That's a big ass opener, and we had a big ass closer, a big new reveal closer as well. Next up, let's talk about Lost Records. We finally got a release date for this and also some gameplay. Getting to see what Don't Nod is cooking up from Life is Strange fame. And this is definitely in line with your Life is Strange tone, to some degree, maybe a little bit more quippy, a little bit more. I mean, a lot of people call Life is Strange teen drama. This feels even more teen drama esque to me. Um, I thought this trailer, something was definitely off with this trailer. I don't know if they just had some weird lip sync issues that they need to get worked out, but the lip sync was fucking awful in this trailer. And I'm hoping that they can work that out. I know that might not be the biggest deal to most people, and it's not the biggest deal to me either. I could probably get over it, but in a very narrative driven, especially with this one now, it's from the first person perspective. So you're going to be seeing a lot of up close shots of these characters speaking to one another. So yeah, I do like the concept though of the first person kind of choose your own adventure game. That's not something you typically see, and you're building this band, and then it cuts to some maybe alien invasion or some sort of interaction with the some supernatural entity or some shit. I'm assuming. I have no fucking idea, but definitely, leaned a little bit into that supernatural realm towards the end of the trailer. And yeah, it's releasing episodically, with the first episode dropping February 18th, I believe, and then March 9th, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have, I'll correct it in the edit if I'm wrong there, but I think it said February 18th and March 9th. And then we have Reanimal, and this is coming from Tarsier, the Little Nightmares developer. And we'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, Reanimal looks just like Little Nightmares with maybe a bit more budget backing it, which is weird because it's coming from THQ. THQ's publishing it. And yeah, I guess, well, we'll stay on Reanimal for a second here, but Yeah, very, very, very similar style of gameplay. It had beautiful visuals, great lighting. I really dug the trailer across the board. Like, this looks better in terms of everything that we've seen of, the past Little Nightmares games and from Little Nightmares 3, which we're going to talk about in a second. I think this is a better looking game, and it looks kind of just of a higher quality bar than anything we've gotten from Little Nightmares in the past, which I love Little Nightmares 1 and 2. But yeah, this looked really, really fucking good. Now, we also got a trailer for Little Nightmares 3, and I think the opposite is kind of true here. This looked worse than any Little Nightmares game I've ever seen, and looks worse than Reanimal. And I'm really curious what the fuck happened with the Little Nightmares IP and why Tarsier moved on to Reanimal and why Supermassive scooped up the Little Nightmares IP and why they're the developer behind the next Little Nightmares game. If any of you have any behind the scenes knowledge of that, I'd very, very curious of what the fuck happened there. But yeah, weird choice to have both of these games at the same show, but hey, I'm down to play both of them. Next up, I gotta shout out Starfield. Y'all know I gotta shout out Starfield. We got a update for the vehicles. The vehicles will be available tonight. I think it's just they're calling it the Rev 8, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it might just be one vehicle that you're able to go in and customize and shit. But yeah, so we got that update dropping tonight, and then we have Shattered Space available September 30th. So we finally got a release date for Shattered Space. So pumped to dive, deeper into that House of Varun storyline and once again, kind of leaning a bit more into the horror aspects. I think that should be a really, really good time. So I'll be there day one for the Shattered Space, and it'll be dope to just be able to hop in September 30th, immediately have all the vehicles and shit ready to go, and be able to experience that House of Varun storyline. And at one point in the trailer, you see some like car combat going on, which fucking love that. Anytime you can add car combat into any game, I'm even more excited for it. So, Starfield Shattered Space available September 30th. And then I want to talk about this secret level. So, I think this is a new TV series, but where like each episode is based on a new game, if I'm not mistaken. You had like Mega Man, God of War, Sifu, The Outer Worlds, Warhammer. You had so much shit in this one trailer. Like there's probably 10, 15 other franchises that I didn't even catch in this trailer. I was really surprised by how good everything looked. Like the animation quality was so strong, and it's coming from the creators of Love, Death, and Robots, which is, critically acclaimed and fans seem to really love it. So hopefully that same type of quality will be applied here to Secret Level, and that is dropping December 10th on Amazon Prime. We, of course, got another look at Monster Hunter Wilds, and this continues to look absolutely excellent from a world design perspective, boss design perspective. It looks god tier, man. Seeing the fucking big ass spider leap onto the big ass lion bear kind of creature and seeing these behemoths just collide and interact with one another in battle. It just they have such a unique style. Monster Hunter just has such a unique kind of one of a kind vibe going on. So yeah, I don't have a ton to add here. It looked excellent every other time we've seen it, and it continues to look excellent now. Arkham Shadow. We finally got some Arkham Shadow gameplay and a release date to accompany it. And this was maybe the biggest shocker of the entire show for me in terms of like my expectation. They were kind of on the floor with Arkham Shadow, and yeah, this looks way better than I ever expected. It looks like a real video game. It has like a legit story, combat. You have stealth mechanics, gadget use. You got boss fights with like pattern recognition sort of built into it. A focus on pattern recognition, a focus on dodging and evading attacks and getting out of the way of charged attacks. Just shit that's kind of standard and taken for granted in regular video games, but these things that aren't really common in VR games. And yeah, coming out October 2024, no specific date, but we got a release window for it. And yeah, once again, another bummer for PSVR 2. This is not going to be available. I think this would be one of those games that would move some units for PSVR 2, but it's going to be exclusive to MetaQuest 3. All right, so this next bit is absolutely fucking insane. Peter Molyneux came out on stage, the creator of Fable, and he is creating a new game called Masters of Albion, the same location where Fable takes place, but I guess it's public domain, if I'm not mistaken. I guess it's like just some sort of fantasy world name that can be used or some shit. But yeah, he brought back some ex Fable devs to work on it with him. It's a self-funded venture. It's a self-funded game. And I gotta be honest, this was wild. It's like a God Sim town building game during the day, and then a third person action adventure game at night as you're like defending your town from invasion. I don't get me wrong, combat looks rough. The game is probably way too ambitious to ever work, or maybe too ambitious to ever even come out. But hey, I appreciate the ambition. Peter Molyneux, he's a one of a kind fella. I think you got to give him that one of a kind fella. He definitely has unique thoughts and unique ideas for gameplay features and just different ideas that should be implemented in the gaming space. Does this look necessarily of the highest quality bar? I wouldn't say so, but definitely ambitious. So got to give him credit for that. Indiana Jones. So speaking of batshit crazy, and I think that's the thing about this show. There was just a lot of weird, fun shit. Maybe not even a lot of stuff that I'm like jumping over the moon to get to, but a lot of weird, fun announcements and shit. Indiana Jones is launching December 9th, 2024 to Xbox and PC. So that's great. We finally got a release date for Indiana Jones when it's coming to Xbox. But at the end of it, it was like a one more thing big reveal. And it was announced that it's also launching spring 2025 to PS5. I, of course, I'm pumped. I'm excited to play the game. I'll play it day one on Xbox through Game Pass. But like Xbox is actively killing Xbox. I don't understand this at all. Like, why in God's name would you set it up as like this one more thing, big reveal announcement? I don't even understand why you would announce it's coming to PS5 at all at this point. Like, let it at least come out first on Xbox and then at a later date announce it's coming to PS. Like that just kind of killed all the momentum of this timed exclusive. Like we already know when it's coming to PS5, so that's not going to help sell any Xbox console. People are just gonna be like, yeah, I'll wait a couple months and then it'll come out to PlayStation 5, the place where I primarily, spend my time. I'll just wait here and not have to spend $500 to play one of my favorite licensed characters. I don't know. I guess you can appreciate the transparency, but from a business standpoint, it just doesn't seem to. Well, I guess unless Disney mandated this, unless Disney was like, "Hey, motherfucker, you got to tell people this thing is coming to PlayStation." So if that's the case, I guess I can understand it. But yeah, I just I find the Xbox business strategy to be a very, very fascinating thing to follow along with. But yeah, the game itself looks fucking amazing. I'm constantly stunned by how good their first person melee system looks. Like hand to hand combat in first person is typically not great, and this looks fan fucking tastic. I love the attention to detail with the journal and the photos and being able to like study the photos and shit and write down little tidbits in the journal and then use that stuff to solve puzzles later on in the game. Just everything about this game looks of the highest quality bar. In machine games, they typically knock it out of the park. So I will be there day one, December 9th, 2024. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. I should have included this in here earlier. Why do I have it so far down in the notes? But I get this is a similar thing to Monster Hunter and even Indiana Jones, where it's like we know what we know about the game in terms of the actual gameplay. It looks great. Not a lot here in this trailer that added to my excitement. It was cool to see little bits of story details and kind of get an idea for how that's going to be laid out. So it's not just going to be nonstop fighting one after another, just constant fights. It's going to, you'll have some story beats in there to follow along with as well. But yeah, October is packed. It's releasing the same day as Metaphor ReFantazio, October 11th. So I'm leaning towards this over Metaphor, but we'll see, man. If Metaphor ends up reviewing through the roof, I might pivot. We'll see. But we did have a very fucking shocking one more reveal announcement, And that is for Mafia: The Old Country. So beyond pumped for this. We didn't really get anything at all with this trailer to go off of, but it was confirmed. Mafia: The Old Country, 1900s Sicily, during kind of the origins of the mafia, that period of time. I love this idea. Let's go to Italy. Let's find some way to tell this story and be somewhat historically accurate, but also create our own origin story for the mafia. And build that fucking empire from scratch. I'm so down for this idea. And if I'm being totally honest, I don't know much about the real origins of the mafia in general. Like every piece of mafia related media that I've ever consumed has been, set in New York or set in Chicago or even like set in Miami. But I don't know a lot about the origins of the mafia. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for this. I think this is a very exciting new setting. And yeah, they said we'll see more in December. So I'm assuming the Game Awards will get like an actual gameplay trailer, at least a cinematic reveal trailer. We didn't really get anything other than a title here, but yeah, can't wait to see more at the Game Awards. And those are all the games that really caught my eye. Like I said, it's a 3 hour show, so I could go through and pick out some other little things here and there, but those are really the mainstays that stood out to me. So I wanted to shout those out to you all. And also, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance just continues to look really good as well. It's another one that kind of fits into that Dragon Ball Z, Sparking Zero, and Monster Hunter Wilds. It fits into that camp where it's like, yeah, it looks good. What we've seen for a while has looked good. I don't think there was anything new in this trailer in particular that jumped out at me, but yeah, it still looked really good. So those are the games that jumped out to me. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything I'm missing or anything I might be overlooking, and I'll have to give it another look. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Quick, short, to the point video. Wanted to go ahead and get this out to you real quick. And yeah, I shall see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.